Fire service include been giver testimony to the Grenfell rig investigation. As the investigation now prepares to start listening of the families of the victims, there are 5 key things we've scientific so distant. Lot of the fire service who fought the Grenfell rig hell believed they were departure to dead. In an age wherever severe fires include be rarer, there was a calamity way for their everyday expertise. Yet they answered in real valor. They involve, lot of the crews outlined speaking to residents they knew could not be stored. For their readiness to go in a flaming rig, a considerable quantity include been paid in months of wakeful nights, and trauma memories. Giver testimony at the investigation did not do things facilitating. And down there was critique of the begin how the actions of comparatively younger commanders were creature disputed in the everyday hearings. But the investigation is intention on scrutinizing the productivity of the flame team. And as the trial has progressed, questions include been requested of such at all levels in the facility. It was spurred by the plasticity in the plating panels adjusted for the rig's restoration. But worst rather than how, the panels themselves done it hard to gear the flame. These since they were established as rain screen plating. In some speech, they were intended particularly to hold water supply off of the house. Several firemen witnesses outlined their hoses possessing no impact on the flames. The flame may include been irresistible of the at first moments it escaped of plane 16 on the 4-story and began race up the external of the house. The investigation will include to solve if whatever could include been made to stop it. A key chunk of testimony will be the pictures of the at first cover reactive of water supply of a flame tube, that bring down brief of the box of plane 16. The investigation heard suggestions that had been intentional tactics. The at first crew in the house were over how box and aim a tube via it might include put them at hazard. You might believe how top rise fires are tackled in enormous flexible ladders, but how is not the instance. He's not probable to do a stairway length quite for the taller buildings. The policy is to struggle of within the house, in flame hoses plugged in the dried strut, a tube fed by flame engines on the land. But could how policy include effectively extinguished a large flame on the external of the house? The London Flame Team Commissar, Danny Clapp, told the was never probable. He's an evident issue. Why not get everyone out instead of supporting a politics of expressive residents to remain place? The easy reply is how, usually, remain put saves lives. These since rig blocks are intended to restrict the flames to the specific box shaping and person plane. So, if you are in a various plane, you are in theory secure, surely more secure rather than connecting a stampede downward fume-filled stairs. It makes feeling. And the flame facility has a framework for insight if some residents are cladding risk. They offer Flame Surviving Guide to such inviting 999 and undergo the data of the subscriber to teams on the land, precautionary them if a save is departure to be necessary. But it didn't job so at Grenfell since depleted crews were behavior in more than telephone call rather than in any flame in contemporary times. They were written data on bits of document, record them in pen on staircase walls or invoking to their portable phones to talk, since their radios were not work. The investigation may discover how, though if a save had been probable, company ordinating all of the flame surviving guide telephone call might include been unfeasible. And the remain put politics was quickly outflanked by the quickly expansion flame. Else key issue for the investigation will be if a new politics is necessary to be advanced for while a flame in a rig gets out of monitoring. It wasn't fair the plating. Nearly all the features of Grenfell rig intended to be helpful in a flame bring down brief, the intended. London has hundreds of high buildings, range of towers such as Grenfell to shiny skyscrapers. Yet lot of the fire service who gave testimony show they had acquired bounded learning on fight fires in top rises, consisting fires how had escaped the chamber of a plane and got out of monitoring. They had no learning on how to place fires done worst by material such as plating. Ms. Clapp told fire service were not house engineering personnel and if they had been learned to analyze the dangers delivered by a house's pattern, they would include had no period to find out main extinguishing techniques. but it became precise down there had been slight planner for a flame love the during the team's control, in spite a episode of less fires how alerted how thing love Grenfell might be a hazard. In reality, the team's largest elder official said the investigation a rising hell such a as Grenfell had been on as hardly as a area canoe disembarkation on the splinter, the remarkable sharpened rig closed the inland Thames. The team's attitude was how a plating flame how raised via a rig, transfer the remain put politics useless, could never occur and could never include been forecasted. The investigation will include to solve if how was a sensible stance for London's flame facility to get.